There's enough Conan on the way to make you worried as to whether or not you actually have the money for all the Conan that's on the way. Let's talk about it. So let's start right here. Yes, we have Conan the Barbarian Ultimate's Cole the Conqueror coming. Now this is something I have been waiting for. I know that we already have Super 7 Conan the Barbarian, but it's based on the movie. That is not, to use a phrase that I'm not a big fan of, that's not my Conan. This, however, novel Conan, comic book Conan, that's my Conan. That's my Conan all the way, forever and ever. It is the ultimate Conan. Interesting, that's being done by Ultimates. I like most of what I've seen from the Ultimates line. I really do. I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and things like that. Now we have Cole the Conqueror coming up right here. He's looking mean. I love the armor here. The black hilt sword is really nice. I'm digging the crown. If that's the kind of coloring that we're going to get, actual silver and gold pieces, which I would say is a very real possibility, because so far, most of what I see in terms of the preview pictures that we see for a lot of this stuff when it comes to Super 7, most of the time that does actually carry over to the figure. It's not often that I end up seeing this and saying to myself, oh, well, great, they promised me one thing, I got another. We have a more action feature pose where he's snarling, his hair is going kind of wild, and then we have a regular kind of pose for the portraits where his face is kind of like just stiff and stern. Absolutely fantastic. We have posing hands, we have punching hands, we have grabbing hands. We have a fantastic axe, we have a really decent sword, and we have the nice sheath here. I'm liking the armor and everything. I like the helmet. I like the crown because this is King Cole, of course. All of this is very solid. Now, if we're looking at the portrait here, this is based on comic book Cole the Conqueror. Likeness argument. He may be too buff. This we're going to let go, to be fair. I see what they're going for here. We're talking about men that are supposed to be very large in stature. But I would argue, and this is a mild argument, I would argue that oftentimes toys make Conan and Cole, maybe there's an argument to be made that Cole was a little bit bigger than Conan. I think that naturally Conan is seen, because of things like Arnold Schwarzenegger, oftentimes we see Conan as this incredibly large man that's basically a bodybuilder. But I think there's a little bit of basis to believe that he wasn't that big. He's a large man, absolutely. Beyond contest, he's a large man. And he's strong. But we have to understand there's a difference between strength, like a man that is strong because he is built ridiculously. Muscles that are for show aren't nearly as strong as muscles that are built to do. That is a very true thing. And Conan is built to do. Everything that he does is combat and survival. So his muscles are built for that exact thing. That way, when he comes across somebody that wants to do battle, oftentimes he is mighty. He has an iron grip. He's dangerous. But Conan is often described as being panther-like. A panther is very strong. We wouldn't deny that. When we look at a panther, it is solid muscle. We don't usually see fat panthers. You get what I'm talking about? So there's enough leanness in Conan for him to be a giant man, but deceptively fast, which is another reason that he will kill you so quickly, is that you'll never see him coming. He's large, then he'll explode, and he'll move very quickly in a way that's very surprising for a man of his size. So I could argue that this is a little too big, because this is about going to be the same body that we're really going to get with Conan, I imagine. But I'm willing to let it go. I think it's still good enough. But oftentimes when I look at comic books and whatnot, when I look at the comic books for Conan, see, he's big, but I don't know if he's this big. But still very, very, very solid. I really like this. Let's check out the other one, because this is Conan the Barbarian. This is, of course, the one that I want. I'm getting both of them, but this is absolutely the one that I want. So we have, of course, when we're talking about Conan, we have black hair, we have sullen eyes, because I think that's something that gets misunderstood sometimes. Conan is not like a beautiful man, okay? He's absolutely not one of those guys that shows up in fiction and you're like supposed to think that he was like handsome or something like that. He's exactly what you expect that a big barbarian-esque man is. He's large, he's dangerous, he will stand out in a crowd. He has sullen eyes. He's this kind of guy. This is pretty right, actually. He's not necessarily ugly, but he doesn't win beauty competitions. When you put him next to somebody that is considered to be a pretty man, he will stand out. It's not what he is, and that's more than fine. That's good. I like this gold here. I like the loincloth here with the it looks like a good material, actually. If there's nothing soft going on here, which I don't think it's soft goods, but I just think it's done very, very well. I like this gold here. I'm really enjoying his sword. I like this. I like the necklace. I'm kind of digging the battle damage. He's supposed to have scars and whatnot. That is part of Conan right there. We're looking at Conan. This, I wonder if this is right after Belit. I'm trying to determine exactly at what point of the comic book we're sitting at here. Is it right before Belit or right after Belit? And I have reason to believe that we're looking at Conan after Belit. So I think this is after his pirate stint. I can't guarantee that, but I have a feeling that's what we're looking at here is after his pirate stint in the comic books. Like I said, I can't guarantee that, but I have a feeling. We're not looking at the chainmail version. And I don't know. It's hard to determine because I know it can't be young Conan. It's not young Conan. He's not wearing the hat that he wears, the helmet that he wears. And I know that we're past the point of him serving in the Tarim army, if I'm not mistaken, because that he was starting to wear armor and whatnot. But he kind of reverted out of armor around the time he was with Belit. Now this could easily pass for the time that he's with Belit. And if that's true, and the comic license has been acquired, as far as I'm seeing right here, if the comic license has been acquired by Super 7, then maybe we're looking at the possibility that this is during the pirate time. We might get a Belit figure. That would be awesome. We have the snarling, angry face with the wild hair kind of flowing, and we have the more stern face with the wild hair that just kind of is an unkept black mane. Like, that's perfect for me. I love that they gave us the actual necklace here. I like the sword. It fits Conan. It works very well. The blunt axe is working for me. I like that he has battle damage and scars because he should. There's an argument to be made. Another reason I tell you he has to be a little older, he can't be young Conan, is we're not looking at sandaled feet. We're looking at boots. And boots, if I'm not mistaken, boots kind of started around the time that he was with Belit, when he was with the pirates and whatnot. So this has to either be around that time or after that time. That's just where my mind is automatically putting it. And I could be wrong, but that's the feeling I get when I look at it. But believe it or not, it's not even just that, but we have more Conan on the way. We also, however, at the same time, have Conan the Barbarian, the original comics omnibus volume 1 coming our way. This is a massive book, and it was almost impossible to get your hands on until just this second. See, the first book sold out like crazy, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you to get 10 of these books, to get the 10 books of the omnibus, it takes about $2,000. I'm not kidding. It is ridiculous what some of these books are costing. Like the first issue can cost literally $800. It's unreal. It's something that most people, me included, are simply not willing to pay. But here we are. Conan the Barbarian. Right here. It's ready. It's here. It's about $119. It's an absolute solid buy. I have volume 4, 5, and 6 of this already, and then was pretty much giving up on the idea that maybe I could ever even get any of it past that, because it just costs too much money. Only for this to finally take place. Now we've got the graphic novels coming this way, and we're looking at a 776-page book. Yes, that's $116. Personally, I will pay that. I do love Conan the Barbarian, so maybe that's different. But look, we also have Omnibus Volume 2, also up for pre-order right now, and that's $116. This is incredible that we have pre-orders for these omnibus that were pretty much impossible to get until very recently. This is 856 pages of original Conan, okay? We're talking about Roy Thomas here. This is literally the best of the best. John Buscema? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing more I should have to say. Okay? This pretty much set the foundation of what everybody views Conan as today. And I'm not kidding about that. Yeah, there are people out there that are very hardcore about the books. And I'm not saying not to be. I love the books as well. But let us be honest about the visual interpretation and the most understood version of Conan. The one that pretty much spanned to the masses, the one that pretty much is on first sight, that's Conan the Barbarian. It was right here, guys. It was right here. And you know what? We're not even done. We're not even done. We also have Savage Sword, the Savage Sword of Conan, also omnibus, also pre-order, up right now. We're looking at $140 for this book. And I know right off the bat, the idea is, what? Oh my God, that's a lot of money. Yes. For some people, this is a lot of money. I'm not telling you that it isn't. But we're looking at 968-page masterpiece. And I'm not kidding. This was one of the books that sidestepped the Comics Code Authority because they knew you couldn't do Conan the Barbarian by pulling punches. So they just didn't. This Conan is visceral. This Conan is mean. This Conan is black and white. This Conan is killing. This Conan is cutting. This Conan is graphic like crazy. Guys, if you don't know, if you've never seen the black and white Conan, if you've never seen these books, they set a style for Conan that is still... This is what Conan should be. You cannot dumb Conan down and play him for younger audiences or sensitive audiences. That is not Conan the Barbarian. It is not what he is designed for. And going even further than that, we have the Savage Sword of Conan number 2 omnibus, also being reprinted, $140 right here. And guys, same thing. These books did not pull punches. They were hardcore. The artwork was savage, to put it lightly. This is beautiful art, guys. Now, let me put this into perspective a little bit. Some of these books, if you've ever read the original Marvel years, I will tell you that some of these were reprinted. See, the Savage Sword of Conan number 13, you will read this story also in Conan the Barbarian. You will read this story and it will be in color and everything. Does that mean that you're kind of double paying for something that maybe you don't want? I don't think so. I honestly believe that the black and white is another experience all on its own. And even when you're reading books that were as well published in Conan the Barbarian, so like you're kind of reading a story that you've already read, I still think it's worth it. I still think it's worth it because there's something about the black and white, the detail, the penciling, the etchings. These are powerful books. Like, beyond the shadow of a doubt, these books are worth your time 100%. And all of this hits relatively soon. That part kind of sucks, because, oh man, I don't know about you, but my bank account is pretty low. There's been so many cool things coming out, so many things that I did put my money into, and my overtime at my job kind of died, so that kind of hit me hard. And then all of a sudden there was no extra money for me to obtain. And of course you can only budget so much, and you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your stuff. So this is a lot. Just the 2 action figures alone are $100. That's a $100 drop right there. Plus, actually they're over $100. Plus, if you go from there at $100 right there, you're looking at 2 omnibus that are about $120 a piece, and then 2 omnibus on top of that if you want the other ones, the Savage Sword of Conan, which is also $140 a piece. So we're talking like 120. We're talking like 120, 120, 120, 140, 140. Bam, money. I'm not saying that it's an easy drop. I'm not saying that it's even something that everybody can do. I'm not saying it's something most people can do. If you want to try to snag all of this right now, that's going to be money in your wallets, guys. That's going to be money in your wallet that you take out, that you put on the table. You're broke now. I fully understand, but the excitement is still there that this is happening. And these are just the pre-orders. If we're lucky, they print this enough that even if you miss the pre-orders, you could still get in on the ground level and still only pay like $124 or something like that per each one of these books or something. And that would still be fantastic. This is exciting news for anybody that likes Conan the Barbarian, that likes swords and sorcery, that likes no holds bar swords and sorcery tales, that enjoys this kind of stuff. Guys, we're living in the moment here. It's hitting us right now, because these kinds of properties, they are not in abundance anymore. Let's just be honest about the situation. They are not in abundance anymore. When was the last time that you felt like Swords and Sorcery had a massive release? Because it's been a while. I promise you it has. You don't see these as movies nowadays. Not really. You don't see these as centerpieces of television anymore. Not really. You don't see these as modern toys anymore. Not really. The time of He-Man and things of that have really passed. Now, there's still a lot out there, and I'd love all of it. And I'm not telling you that He-Man is dead. I'm not one of those fans. I still believe the properties are strong, but they are nowhere near the level that they used to be at. This is, should I call it a niche? Is this a niche fandom at this point, Swords and Sorcery, realistically? Especially something hardcore like Conan the Barbarian, Savage Swords of Conan, the original Marvel years, something that's definitely worth it, but like, you're going to pay for it. Not saying it's great, but I'm saying that if you've been waiting for a big drop, or if this was a book series that you had to pass on because the prices just weren't right, well, guys, the opportunity presents itself again. This is your chance. This is my chance. This is our chance to finally own Conan the Barbarian, the original Marvel years, to own the entire run as it prints of Savage Sword of Conan. This is awesome to have these omnibus back on the market at affordable prices. But if we sleep on it, we're going to end up right back where we were, trying to find a way to justify $2,000 to read some books. And let's be honest about it, almost none of us are justifying that. I know I'm not. Anyways, that's enough Conan news. I'm going to get out of here.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.